Excuse me.
Hey, you got a visitor.
Shut up, you! And what you want?
My name's John Marston. You wanted to speak to me.
I did?
Apparently so.
Why?
I guess because we're both in the business of the law.
There's a man going round taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around.
I like to go with
Pokemon!
That's my favorite pronouncement.
All right, welcome to episode 159 of the Gamers in Beta podcast. This is Captain Mike M. As Corey just demonstrated, there's going to be a lot of what tonight?
There's going to be a lot of
Pokemon!
Yes. So let's see. We got a big show tonight. We got the Dilligaff. We got the hot seat. We got a lot of news to cover. So sit back and enjoy the next 90 minutes. Let's bring in the fellas. Corey, what's going on?
Hey, my name's Corey Atwood, and only 90s kids remember me.
Jay, Maniac17, how you doing?
Well, I'm going with a 90s theme, too, and I must admit I didn't think it would happen to me, but I have been taken by the Pokeballs.
It's fucking disgusting!
It is.
And Sean, Quicksilver 3355, how we doing?
I'm doing well, and I once did roadie a Milli Vanilli show. Yep, that happened.
Ouch.
Oh, I already said it's fucking disgusting. I don't want to overuse it now.
Jeez, yeah. It fits, though.
Let's get some housekeeping right out of the way, right off the top. We have a giveaway currently going on Twitter for a sealed copy of Uncharted 4, Thief's End for the PlayStation 4. So look for that tweet. You can go to gamersinbeta.com and you can enter various ways by following us on all our social media channels. And that contest ends next Friday. So get your entries in now. And we're still plugging away on the shirts. Sean, looks like we still have 28 more to sell. We still got a few more weeks to go with that. For anybody who wants to buy a shirt, again, the website address is teespring.com/gamers-in-beta. And hopefully we sell 28 more between now and I think, 2 more weeks or something like that. If so, everybody gets a shirt for $15 who buys them. If that doesn't work out, we'll move on to something else.
Shut up and take my money!
So before we dive into the news, does anybody have anything exciting happen this week? Jay, I know you were out drinking this afternoon, and we'll get into your what you were doing at the bar there, but anything else exciting this week for you?
A friend of mine, or actually my brother called up, and a friend of mine's birthday was Thursday, and he said, hey, we're going to go up in northern Maine and go up ATV riding. So I took 2 days off, and I went up Wednesday night, and we went out four-wheeling on Thursday and Friday. And what I did not realize is they brought us down this trail that was called Car Wash. I'm like, okay, Car Wash is going to be puddles. No, there was giant, they were like 4 feet deep puddles with some pretty rough riding through there, and I flipped the four-wheeler over, well, almost over on its side and got soaked. So it was a redneck weekend because I rode for 3 days in a row, so I enjoyed that.
Now, after 3 days of riding on your ATV, do you have a little like bow-legged action going on, like you've been on a horse?
No, actually, with the issues that I've been having with my back, as devious Mr. Matt would understand, but it's actually my back doesn't hurt anymore because I guess the major thing is I've been sitting on my ass too much. So it's nice to get out and exercise and get those muscles moving around. So
cool. Corey, what about yourself? Anything exciting this week? Or just been working?
Unfortunately, just been working. I'm going to be taking the week after next off, and I'll be off all that week, so I have to work weekends and just work my balls off until then. So Nothing fun. Well, I'll get into that when we start saying what we've been playing. Never mind.
You going anywhere or a staycation?
I wish staycation so I could knock down my shame pile, but no, we're going to be heading up to Saco for about a week or so with a couple friends of ours. We rented a house, and then the last couple of days, I'm going to head on over to Bingham. My fellow maniac over there knows where Bingham is, and I'll probably be camping for 2 days with friends of mine from high school. So lots of booze, lots of outdoors, lots of fireworks, the usual.
Looks like I might be headed to Iceland pretty soon. We're gonna take the family and go to Iceland. See how that works out. Sean, hello.
Yes, sir.
How you doing this week?
I'm doing awesome. A lot of work, though. Not a whole lot of anything else really going on. Work's been a little crazy because of the holiday. Always screws everything up. So that's pretty much all. Not a whole lot going on there.
Driving up to Vermont?
Yep, driving up to Vermont. Although I will say it does have some benefits when it's summertime up there.
Bouncy season. Jiggly jiggly.
Yes.
All right, well, we got a lot of shit to cover here, so let's dive right into some news right off the top. Dave McCarthy, the Xbox Services Manager, has made a statement to the Daily Star, and this is talking about a trade-in program for people that want to upgrade to the Scorpio. He says, we want to make this transition as smooth as possible. Some of our retailers today do trade-in programs that definitely help out the customers, and they're going to continue to do so, and there's going to be partnerships moving forward. We'll try partnerships with our retail partners to smooth it out even more with trade-in programs and things like that. Would that entice any of you guys? I think that's going to be our community question of the week. But how about you guys? If you had a trade-in program, you think you would nab the Scorpio?
As soon as I know exactly what the Scorpio is, maybe I would actually be able to think about it. But, I mean, we really don't know exactly yet. And that would have to be a pretty good trade-in.
Yeah.
Or the cost of it.
So
yeah, that's true.
This author from tweaktown.com, he is speculating that the Scorpio is going to cost $599, and that's just his opinion. And he also speculates that your Xbox One, not the S, the Xbox One would probably be worth $120 in trade-in. So what he's saying is essentially that you'll get maybe $20 more for trading in your Xbox One. Because if you trade it in right now for store credit, you get $100. So it's really, I don't know if a trade-in program is $20. And he believes if you trade in your Xbox One S, you'll be getting $160 for it. Interesting about the Scorpio is that they keep throwing out here this 6 teraflops. And can someone tell me when Nvidia or AMD releases their new cards, how come they're not talking about teraflops? They're talking more about other things like cores. Is teraflops a huge thing, or is teraflops something that Microsoft is glomming onto for marketing hype?
It's a technological term that they do use, but
you would agree that you don't hear Nvidia tossing out teraflops or AMD. They talk more about cores, right?
when you get into tech specs, they do. They'll give you the cores, they'll give you CUDA cores, how many teraflops those CUDA cores can produce or whatnot. So it's something along the lines. I believe it's how much each processor or core or whatever can do something along them lines.
I guess I'm not talking so much like the spec sheet. Sure, you go to the spec sheet, it's going to list everything. But when you're on stage like at E3, Microsoft talks about teraflops. When you go on NVIDIA's stage and they talk about stuff, they're usually talking, like you said, CUDA cores and clock speed. I'm just wondering why Microsoft has chosen to talk about teraflops and not the other stuff.
Well, it's whatever.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, whatever buzzword you think may appeal to your core audience. You know, like I think the PC audience is more likely to want to overclock things, and the console audience they know more about their flops, I guess.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, I've been surprised that the console audience would know anything about overclocking or flops. It's just, I don't have the answer one way to it. It just seems to me a little weird that you got the card makers not talking about flops at all, but yet Microsoft is talking about flops. I'm just wondering how they picked that particular
it's because the cards don't have to worry about flops. Their stuff works most of the time. So
yeah,
because like
Microsoft does know their flops, you know, with Quantum Break and all.
Yeah.
You know, the 1080 is going to have 8.9 flops, and the 1070 has 6.4 flops. Just to give you some sort of comparison.
Right. See there, you found it right there.
Yeah, I just dug it up.
Yeah, I mean, the good description of it is today's fastest parallel computing operations are capable of teraflop speeds. Scientists have begun to envision computers operating at petaflop speeds. So we don't have those yet, so that's how you put the speed out there. That's kind of how they do it. So I guess...
Yeah, I guess the larger question is why is Microsoft not saying, it's going to have this many cores and things like that, and they attach themselves to flops. But I guess...
Because you can take your CPU and your GPU, combine the two, and say this is how many teraflops it can do by comparing the two, kind of like they say, we have shipped this many games. Yeah, but how many actually sold?
Well, let's move on. Go ahead, Corey.
Well, I was just going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm no PC gamer or anything, but when you actually have a PC that has multiple petaflops, you actually have to go around and tell your neighbors that you're a petaflopper, right?
I thought the dad jokes were last week. Did you enjoy those, Jay?
I thoroughly enjoyed those. Thank you very much. You made my week. Even though I was unable to record with you guys, it made my week.
You felt like you were there, right?
I did. I felt that I wasn't as missed because the dad jokes were still there.
Not forgotten.
It was not forgotten.
Let's continue on with some good graphics card talk. The GTX 1060 is releasing this month on July 19th. It's going to have the same performance or better than the 980, and it's going to be sold for $249. The 1060 is built on a new chip called the GP106. Both the 1080 and 1070 use the GP104. The new card features 1280 CUDA cores, 6 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory running at 6 gigabytes per second, and a boost clock of 1.7 gigahertz, which can be overclocked to 2 gigahertz. There's our tech talk for the day. So that's a good price point, $249. It's going to have similar, if not better, performance than the 980. Jay, you got what, the 980 Ti right now?
I have the Ti, right, which is more equivalent to the what's the Titan or Titan X. So,
well, lots of options.
So a little bit more.
Lots of options out there, and don't be fooled. The GTX 1060 is probably a response to what AMD recently announced.
Yeah, what is it, the 380?
So Team Red or Team Green? Some other news here. Microsoft has changed their description for the Xbox Play Anywhere. And I personally, I don't think this is as big of a deal as people are making this out to be. But they went ahead and edited their statement to say all the games that we showed on the E3 presentation will be Xbox Play Anywhere. And Phil Spencer responded to the article on PC Gamer and said, basically our intention is still to deliver to both, but sometimes the game just will not call for it, and therefore we won't deliver to both the PC, Windows 10, and Xbox One. And I also think this means that Halo is probably not ever coming to PC.
It's just a clarification that they said all the Microsoft published games will be the crossplay there. And then they changed it to say all the Microsoft published games that were at E3 would be that. So that kind of is a big change by just inserting two words.
It's it's typical. Hey, we're going to announce this. We're going to grab everybody's attention, and then stealthily change the description later on.
It still makes me think: who the fuck do they have doing their marketing where they do this consistently? They put the information. It's like, oh, sorry, we didn't proofread this before we put it out there.
I mean, conversely, if you want to talk about what Mike Ibarra said the other day, right? So Phil Spencer went on this big press tour at E3 and said, hey, if you don't have a 4K TV and, there's no reason to get the Xbox One S, your games aren't going to look any better, blah, blah, blah. And then Mike Ibarra comes out on Twitter the other day and says all games will be upscaled.
All games will upscale, yep.
Yeah. So, again, the other hand, not talking to the other. But, hey, if Mike Ibarra's right and Phil's wrong, then that's great for everybody because that means games will look better.
Again, it's a technicality, but the games won't output in 4K, but the video signal that's being output will be able to be upscaled to 4K. So it's a mash of words that they could argue about, but and he was pretty adamant about saying what I said was accurate, because he had people questioning him after. He was like, "Well, are you sure it's going to be all of them will?" And he says, "All of them will."
No, he said something was like, don't quote me on this exactly, but he said, "Press follow me, and they can take this to the bank. This is 100% absolute truth."
Which actually got me a little more enticed to not cancel my upgrade if they still push them out to friggin' December, because we still don't have a release date for the 1 terabyte and
the 500
or the 500. Yeah,
right. Yeah, I think they're definitely probably going to come out in December. Wouldn't you think? I mean, these things are already, what they say, August 2nd is the release date.
that is, yes, for the 2 terabyte.
Is it August 2nd or August 31st?
No, it's somewhere in August, right?
There's something coming out on August 2nd. I can't keep the date straight.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it's mid-August for the S, though.
So you think the Scorpion will be available in December? Is that what you said?
No, the Scorpio will be ready
No.
for holiday 2017.
Okay.
What we're talking about is the cheaper models. You know how on E3 they said
Yeah.
available for $299. Well, the $299 model is not coming out till December, from what we can gather at this point. All right, well, let's move on to the community question of the week, which was, what is the one game you've never beaten that you feel most guilty about? And let's read some of the responses, and then we'll get into our own answers here. Let's see. The first three are all from the Dad's Getting Grounded crew. So first, Magma Flow says, Chrono Trigger, cleared Chrono Cross, but not the former. Runer 2, Jeremy says, Final Fantasy VII, started at least 6 times on various platforms, but never saw it all the way through.
6 times. Like, what was he thinking? Like the 5th time? Like, yeah, it's really gonna happen this time. just didn't do it.
And let's see. Lastly, from Dad's Getting Grounded is our buddy Damian, and he says Castlevania: Lords of Shadow. I'm so ashamed I never finished that game. I loved it so much and refused to trade it in or sell.
All right, and the next one is Colin at PDX Geek on Twitter. His was Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. That is one that the guilt would really get to me, not beating A Link to the Past. That is an excellent game, and if you're not going to go back and play that, play A Link Between Worlds. It's practically the same game, and it's on the 3DS. It's like one of the best Zelda experiences you're going to have easily. And the next one is Slaterific at The Pizza Guy on Twitter. He said, The Last of Us. I bought a PS3 to play that game, but I've only put a few hours into it. It's on my Everyday Gamers backlog draft, so I need to finish it. Yes, you should. You should go back and finish it.
That is a tough one, though, because the gameplay can be pretty hard.
Yes. Yep.
But it's well worth playing because the story is incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It only gets better, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so moving on.
That's
Freddie.
not you. Nope. I'm saving you for the end there, Jay.
Alrighty then.
Freddie at yep, not going to be able to do it. Farito Kruger, Wolfenstein, TNO, and also Diablo 3, but I started playing it again a couple of weeks ago. Holy Headshot at Holy Headshot Everyday Gamers, XCOM. It's my all-time favorite franchise, and yet I haven't even finished it.
Ooh,
for
frowny
shame.
face.
And Jay, I saved this one specifically for you.
I now understand why, and I apologize. I should have known. This is from our good friend Aaron Shoesmith at THM Magnum Spy. Peggle. Does Peggle even have an ending? Been playing for years and hasn't ended yet. And I guess technically, no, it does not, because I've played it. I've finished all of the levels, and because I answered him on Twitter. I've finished all the levels, but now I'm going back and trying to complete, and you kind of get to, 3 sections of a rainbow to complete the thing, kind of like 3 stars. I'm still working on it too, but I don't think there's any shame in that.
Okay.
I wouldn't feel ashamed about that one. That one's a decent one to have as your only unfinished game, I think.
Well, let's not kid ourselves here that Aaron does like to pull our leg consistently, and he always answers Peggle. It's an inside joke at this point.
Ah.
So how about you guys, Corey? Is there something that's on your list that you've never completed and feel terribly ashamed about?
Probably my biggest shame as far as not beating the game, not beating the game without cheating. I did beat it with a Game Genie, but I never actually completed the original Super Mario Brothers without cheating. I am very upset about that. It haunts me to this day. I've tried. I've put hours into it and just not been able to complete that last castle. But yes.
Like in the morning, is it like some days difficult to put your feet down on the floor because you haven't beaten this? Is it just like tough to get out of bed because of it?
It's the heaviness right there in your chest when you wake up.
Yeah.
It's like Mario stomping on your chest.
And Jay, how about yourself? Anything on your list?
Especially very relevant right now is Red Dead Redemption. I bought the Game of the Year edition, and before I even got an Xbox One, or just before I got the Xbox One, and I did not play it. And now that it's out on backwards compatibility, I have tried it. The horse is a piece of shit. But I think if I had played this when it had come out originally, this would have been Witcher grade of game for me back then. It's just it does kind of show its age a bit now, but I mean that game.
Well,
now that I've gotten a little bit into it, it's pretty incredible. So
yeah, let's get into that more in just a few minutes. Because I have a very, very different opinion than you. Sean, how about yourself?
Borderlands 2, actually. I really need to finish that at some point. I never finished the game, so I never actually beat it.
That is good.
That's on my list too of unbeaten games, but I do not feel guilty about that one.
I do. It seems like everybody else has beaten it, so I thought. So
I'd have to say for me, definitely Fallout 4. I think I hinted at that last week. I have many hours into that game, probably close to 100. And there's no reason I shouldn't have finished it by now with that many hours in the game. So I am ashamed, but I am living in a great time to play games. I am playing Fallout 4. I am playing The Witcher. I am playing Red Dead Redemption. I mean, those are such great franchises, so I am fortunate that I am still playing those and look forward to completing it very soon.
And Fallout 4 is right in your backyard, man. It's right in your backyard. You got to beat it.
I know. I think part of me, I lost steam. What came out? Something distracted me. I can't remember what it was. Uncharted, maybe, and Doom. There was something else beforehand that got me distracted. I can't remember what, but I am getting back to it. No worries. And hopefully I've delayed it enough that they've released some patches, and when I'm completed the story and then I'm ready to move into Far Harbor, that fog issue has been addressed. That's what I'm hoping, at least.
I thought they already addressed that.
I don't know. I can't tell you.
Yeah, they said that they've already addressed that. They changed the way the lighting and reduced the amount of fog, and I guess it's fixed that.
I didn't know if the update already made its way to the PlayStation 4, though.
I believe so.
Let's move into what the community question is for next week. Jay, why don't you tell them?
Our community question of the week for next week. If I can get up to it here, as usual, I'm scrolling once again. 2, would a trade-in credit toward an upgrade to the latest console, PS4K or One S, entice you to upgrade?
And we just touched upon that a little bit. Corey, before we move on, I believe we have a sound clip from Joe State telling us about what game he has on his list that he feels most guilty about. Can you play that for us?
Yeah, just before I play that, though, he's actually right here next to me. He just wanted to duck his head in real quick, and we were going to ask him, Joe, why aren't you able to make it here today?
I'll be doing my buddy.
Oh, he's doing his buddy, so he's busy tonight. But all right, yeah, he did leave us this.
Joe State here, and my game of shame that I wish I would have beaten was the original Dead Space. My co-host on Trade Waiters, his name is Sean, and he was my roommate at the time. And we were both sharing the same profile on the PS3, and he ended up saving over my profile about 2 chapters ahead of me, but I was over halfway through the game. And at that point, I was like, well, I missed a bunch of story beats, and I'm not going to play over half the game over again. So I guess, well, I lost this one. And then we basically had to have separate profiles on the PS3 from that point on. So that's my story.
That sucks.
Yeah,
Lose the whole game like that.
And that's a good reminder for people out there. If you're responding to the community question of the week, you don't just have to type it out. You can use the Wave app and get your voice on the show. I hope more people use it because I think it's pretty cool. And I think we'll hear from Joe a little bit later in the show, too. So stay tuned.
I'll be doing my buddy.
He's gonna get on a fucking plane from Portland to Massachusetts.
I'll be doing my buddy.
Oh, all right, we desperately got to move on. Let's get into what we've been playing. Jay, you have nothing on your list. Does that mean
I just didn't get a chance to fill it in. I've been playing Witcher 3, Blood and Wine once again. Really enjoying it. Some of these side quests are a lot of fun, and I can't believe how much I'm going back to running to the boards and getting all the notices, and then I'll try to plan out a route so that I can hit as many questions marks as possible on my way to the next quest that I'm doing. So really getting back into that. And played some Red Dead Redemption.
All right, I'm rolling up my sleeves here, Jay.
Okay.
I'm just rolling them up. Let's go.
Okay. Everybody complains about the horse in The Witcher, which there's a valid point, and I do it too. I still have it. But there was a kind of a tutorial when you first get into the game, and because of the age of the game, and it's not really a spoiler, but I'm going to, very extremely minor spoiler, just listen anyways, is you have to do a race in the game with the horse. And I couldn't win that for anything. It just...
Because you weren't letting off the gas. I watched you on Twitch. So
there was no gas pedal on that horse.
There is a rhythm to how you use that horse. You just don't constantly tap the A button. You tap, 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 tap. You let it go. You let it build up speed and you ease off. Let it build up speed and ease off. So as I'm watching...
You think I'm fucking smart?
So
it's like you've never ridden a horse before. You got to tap, tap, tap.
Actually, I have. It's nothing like riding a regular horse. I'm telling a real horse, I should say. Nothing like it.
So you were going into that first major turn, and you were just going like 100 million miles an hour, and the horse couldn't turn because you were just going so fast. You went up and over.
Well, how come I don't have a horseshoe upgrade?
What?
Better traction.
Because you're in the tutorial. You haven't gotten that far.
Oh, all right. It's like racing. You should be able to change the setup or something.
Am I like in like an alternate universe here or something?
No, you are on the podcast with Jay, so that you shouldn't be surprised. I had a hard time with it, and I finally finished it, but I wasn't able to beat her. So
I did it last night. I restarted the game. I didn't beat her either, but it was like a neck and neck finish. I don't even know if you can beat her. Maybe you can, but she beat me by a horsehair.
Yeah. The big difference between the two, though, is the fact that in Red Dead you have to stay on the trail. If you don't stay on the trail, the horse pretty much stops.
Well, you can go. It depends. I mean, some places the horse will either stop or it will lose its traction and will fall down the hill and you'll die. It really depends on where you are. But let's get the horse stuff out of the way because that's just a technical nuance type thing, something you have to master. For me, for all intents and purposes, I could still have muscle memory from playing the game from 6 years ago. So I looked at my save file and it was from July 26th of 2010. So it's been almost exactly 6 years since I've played the game. But still, I probably have some sort of muscle memory from playing it, and I didn't find the horse difficult to maneuver at all. But let's put that aside. Let's talk about the game itself. What are your thoughts?
I think this could rival Witcher in a way with me, the way they're kind of the storytelling goes. I'm really enjoying. There's a lot of dialogue in it as you walk by. There's people that you walk by that they're talking and having conversations. You're not necessarily interacting with them, but you kind of have that. And then when you're with the ones that you do interact with, I'm really enjoying the story part of it. The only issue I do have is when I start playing it, I'm like, just want to go back to The Witcher. Because I need to complete that DLC. So I think after I finish Witcher, I will probably go back to this and try to play it and finish it up. But I imagine this is probably a very long game.
I don't think it's super long. I mean, maybe 30, 40 hours, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's super long or not these days. I could be totally making that number up too, but there's a fair amount of content in there that you can get through. I think it looks great on the Xbox One. I don't think it.
I'm impressed.
For a 6-year-old game, I do not think it looks bad at all. I don't feel anything is outdated or old. The UI, I guess, would be maybe something that could be, looked at there. That like, hey, that's like 6-year-old tech there that I'm looking at, and maybe wasn't the clearest way to get things.
But it's still manageable.
Yes. Now, I will say it is an absolute motherfucking train wreck of an experience playing multiplayer. First of all, you have to. I didn't know this, but your friends list aren't in sync between systems. So you can have 100 friends on your Xbox One list, and you could have 50 friends on your Xbox 360 list. They're not synced across systems. So if you're doing a party on the Xbox One, that doesn't necessarily mean you can join their game on the 360. So there's things that you have to do on the 360 to join the multiplayer. So we were all in party on the Xbox One. We got to the 360. We couldn't figure out what was going on, why we couldn't join. And we had to press both buttons, the back and start button. And that's how you bring up your Xbox 360 menu. And we had to add each other on there as friends. And then we can do stuff. And we also don't know if the game is broken or if it's an Xbox problem. But if you start up the game and you go to Xbox multiplayer by pressing the X button, you just hang there for like 10 minutes. You just get this, the revolver, and it says free roam, and it stays there forever. It never really goes away, and you have to quit the game. So what we found out is that you have to start the game up, go into single player, and then once you're into single player, press start, and go over to the UI, and then go to Xbox multiplayer, and select private. And once you're in private, then you can kind of do stuff with people. Now,
I want to isolate that. Once you're in private, you can do stuff with people. We have to isolate that sound.
We also noticed when it was just the 4 of us and we were playing co-op missions, and things worked, pretty well, minus our skill level in certain situations. Later in the night, we tried to join up with Larry, Blue Man Rule, and some of his friends. So there was maybe about 8 or 10 of us trying to do some free roam stuff. And game completely broke. Again, we don't know if it's Red Dead Redemption or Xbox that's causing the problems. But supposedly we were all in the same instance, but some of us, a good majority of us, could not see any of our, co-op partners in the game. So like Larry could see me, and he's like, yeah, I'm right in front of you shooting you. I don't see anything, Larry. I'm jumping up and down. He's like, yeah, I can see you jumping up and down. I was like, Larry, I can't see you. And then we would go to the hideout where we needed to kill people. I couldn't see any of the enemies. So I'm not sure if the servers need, take the RAM out, put some new RAM in, dust them off, get new servers, or if they're just a larger Xbox problem, just can't handle this glut of people all at once, all of a sudden.
How many people can you play multiplayer with on that?
I think we were trying to do 8 people and to do various, free roam activities. As far as the co-op missions, I believe 4 is, the most the most you could do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It had like a 6,000% increase in sales or something after they made that announcement. So it wouldn't surprise me if the servers were just like, whoa,
you're ruining the news, man. You're ruining the news.
I took that out because that news is a little misleading. It wasn't 6,000 increase in sales. It was their position on the chart on Amazon increased by 6,000%. So that's why I took it out. It was a little convoluted.
But they still got a lot of sales out of it.
Yeah, they still got a lot of sales. And it was like $7.49, I think, on the Xbox store.
Yeah. Yeah, if you had gold, it was $7.49, and I did not do it because I have the disc.
No, I didn't run into any issues with the DLC. I was very impressed the way Xbox handled this for me. I know other people like Jeremy and Larry had terrible issues on their end. But for me, I installed the game. I put the disc in. It immediately said it needs a 7.4 gigabyte update. I did the update. It installed it. And then, you load up the game, you're like, all right, I got to get my DLC. I go to where the DLC is and says, hey, you can't do this from this menu. You have to go back to your Xbox One dashboard and go to Manage Game and download it all from there. So I'm in the preview program, and I like the new UI in that section. It showed me all my DLC. There was a download all button, and I downloaded it all, and I've had no issues. Some of the other guys, not so nice of experience, and I think they're in the preview program as well. At least that's what they tell me. So,
yeah. I'm wondering how it's going to work for me because I actually have the Game of the Year edition that has all the DLC. I have a second disc that has all that DLC on it. I still have yet to put in and see how that, if it just installs it or how it works.
Yeah, you need to get in there soon because some of that DLC was free, regardless of what disc or anything you had. As long as you had gold. Some of it was free, so make sure you download that.
Yeah.
But let's wrap up this Red Dead talk. Very impressed with it as far as the single-player experience. I think it looks great. Brings back lots of great memories. And Jay, the only wisdom I can give you is just get on that horse and just ride out there without a mission going on and just practice it. It's like I said, it's not a constant mashing of the A button. It's very much...
No, I figured out how to do that because if you do the constant mashing, the horse will whinny, and then if you continue to do it, it'll actually throw you off. I did figure out how that works, and I did figure out how to slow down afterwards. And I mean, basically, it's like in Witcher. It's just a conveyance. You can do races, but it's just a conveyance, and once you get that figured out, it's fine. Unless you run across some guy that's off to the side of the trail that says, hey, I need some help. Can you help me? And you go over to help him, and he knocks you off your horse and steals your horse. And then leaves you in the middle of the desert with no horse. And when you go to shoot him, it glitches and the horse is like on the path running and he's like in the position like he's riding the horse off to the side and then kind of teleporting back and forth. So I couldn't shoot him even in the what is it called? The Dead Eye or whatever. So I lost my horse and I'm stuck in the middle of the desert, and that's when I said fuck this and went to Witcher.
Dude, you've been playing open world games for how long? You should know better. As soon as you see someone,
I knew better too. It went through my head. I'm like, all right, no problem. If something happens, I'll shoot him. Nope.
All right. Anything else you've been playing, Jay?
That pretty much covers it. I mean, like I said, I had some vacation days, and the days that I weren't, I was working, and with the holiday and everything, that's pretty much all I got in.
Okay.
But
Corey,
there's been a lot of the Witcher, so.
Corey, how about yourself?
I have attempted to be playing a little bit of Ark, but after that latest update, the Xbox One is a little fucked up from that update. I keep getting booted from my games, and which is pretty dangerous in that game because, as you know, is a perpetual world. So if you're like out flying somewhere or you're just outside of your base and you get booted, then you could lose everything and your character could die. So I've only played a little bit of that since the update.
All right, let me stop you right there real quick. Is that update you're talking about an update to Ark or an Xbox One update?
That was a patch for Ark. It was a fairly sizable patch, too. I don't remember how many gigs, but it was a huge update. Brought in some new dinosaurs, brought in the Titanosaurus, which is like the largest dinosaur they've seen to date. Brought in like Ewok-type villages that you can put on like trees, new biomes. It's like an enormous update, but yeah, it derped a couple of things, I think, as far as the Xbox One side goes. Has it changed anything for PC, Sean?
Yes, it has. It derped it the same way, and I'm going to tell you it's because it's an environmental change. We had the devs on our server, on the RP server, so they were trying to figure out what was causing all the issues, and so they came on our server and we're working on it. They fixed some of it, but we still have people go invisible. Can't see them. Animals disappear. Yeah, it's still kind of screwing things up. They're working on it, but I mean, it's an alpha.
Yeah.
So.
It's so weird. We've had a few people get booted and then they come back and their body's been cloned and their cloned body is just standing there with his arms out. It's really bizarre, but I've kind of steered clear since the update. I don't want to fuck everything up. Got back to playing a little more Uncharted 4. The wife and I are playing it, do a couple of chapters every night. We just switch back and forth with the controller. So that's been a lot of fun. And I have been playing some
Pokemon!
But I know we can get to that later.
Uncharted 4 reminds me we're having a giveaway. Don't forget.
True.
And you don't even need it because you already have it.
Yes, but someone out there, they want it. So get involved in our giveaway.
Yes. Sean, you've been playing some Ark 2, I assume?
Yep, playing Arc RP on the Critical Gaming server. Some of my friends from the original place that I started playing on Bear Island, they actually are on this server now, so we're all kind of playing together again. It's kind of like a little bit of a reunion of sorts. Also experiencing some problems. I think I must have crashed like 4 or 5 times last night and finally gave up because it's hard to role play when you keep falling asleep random places and whatnot. So it's it's a little difficult. And then I played some Fallout 4. I beat it. The main storyline anyway.
Damn, making me look bad.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then, but now I put mods on it because I wanted to see these mods since it takes away all the achievements. I wanted to wait till I finished the main story, and now I got this with mods, and I was trying all kinds of mods. Now I'm super duper. I got this thing, it's called a cheat room that actually shows up, and you can actually it's got all the weapons, it's got all the power armor upgrades, it's got all the stuff in it you could possibly ever want to have. So now I'm rolling around the wasteland without having to worry about ammo and settlements and all this other nonsense. It's kind of interesting. So, and I did some environmental updates. I made it so there's grass. It does kill my frames a little bit, but it looks nice.
Cool. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
So, obviously Red Dead, we already touched upon that. Also playing a bunch of Witcher 3. I don't think I'm as far along in the DLC as Jay is at, but trying to get my rhythm on this DLC. It seems more slowed down than in other parts. A lot more dialogue maybe, I'm not sure, but I'm trying to get to a place where I get this rhythm and I can just knock out a bunch of quests, but I'm not there yet. And lastly, I've been playing some of the Technomancer. This is an action RPG by Spiders Games. They're a relatively small European studio. They also put out that RPG a couple years ago, Bound by Flame. And, it's a little rough around the edges, and I'm trying to get through it as best I can. I'm trying to say to myself, all right, this is a small team. It's not, the same size as, people working on Witcher 3 and things like that. But it looks beautiful. It's a story that takes place on Mars. It's about the war of water on Mars, and these technomancers have some sort of electrical powers that they have, and it's just, there's not a lot to it right now. It's just a lot of, go to this generic enemy, kill this generic enemy and kill, and a lot of that. So I'm trying to get to some more of the story and enjoy it, but a little slow going right now. And anything else that we need to touch upon here for what we've been playing? I think we covered everything. Let's.
I've been playing Pokemon also, but I was saving it for a later segment.
Fuck you, man!
Well, let's take a break here, guys. We're going to bring in Damian in just a few minutes for the hot seat.
Hello.
Hello. Who's this?
Hey.
Have we reached the right person? Hello.
I hope so. You were trying to contact after?
After dark? This is not that type of show, sir.
This is Afterthought. After dark.
Well, by that sound of that voice on the show, that means it's time for the hot seat. Corey, let's give him the music.
Me mind on fire, me soul on fire, feeling hot, hot, hot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you ready now, Damian? I can feel it.
I don't know. I feel like it's a trick because like you play this happy music, and I know that has nothing to do with the hot seat. So yeah, I feel like you're putting me under a false sense of security here.
That's all right. Just sit back, and hopefully this is as uncomfortable as possible for you. First of all, Damian, I want to get serious for a minute. A lot of troubling things going on in the world right now, and we all here greatly appreciate the work that you and your officers do on a daily basis. So before I beat you up, I want to lift you up. So thank you for
you should have done that at the end, huh?
No, fuck that. All right, Jay, are you ready to make Damian Afterthought 051 as uncomfortable as possible?
All right. Now, we know that you are a police officer, so do you do patrols still? And this is just kind of set up here. This is not the actual question yet. I'm just trying to get set up here. Do you do patrols in a car at this point in time?
No.
You don't. Did you at one point?
Yes.
Okay. Had you ever had the chance that you had to shit or piss in your car because you had nowhere else to go?
No.
All right. That one flubbed then.
Damian is a Marine. He can hold it.
Yeah. Never had that problem, and I can always go into the woods to do something.
Okay, so during these patrols, say you pulled someone over, did you ever witness any nudity or some sexual acts were offered to get out of them?
No sexual acts were offered, but I've caught multiple people nude many times.
All right, so those are the easy questions. I'm sure the other guys are not going to go as easy because.
Oh, hold on, I want to back up just for 1 second. So are you a state trooper or a?
No, I'm a real cop. Yeah,
a real cop. Oh. Ooh. All right. So and as a real cop, so you've shit in the woods as a real cop?
No, never had to do that.
Oh, you said you go into the woods to do things. Then should I ask? Should I even venture into what those things were?
No, I haven't done anything. But I'm just saying, like, if I ever had to go that bad, I would never pee or poop myself in my car. I would go into the woods, but I never had. I never had.
Oh, okay.
Bad. Now, if you want to know, I have had someone poop in my back seat on me.
Okay, there we go. I should have worded it better.
Yeah. Well,
was there a defecation that ever happened in the vehicle?
Yeah, pretty nasty stuff.
Oh, did you have to clean it because it was your car?
I did. I mean, we have prisoners and stuff, but I'm of the mindset that it's my mess. It wasn't even a prisoner. It was somebody I was helping out and giving them a ride. There was this old couple, and I'm like, these people stink, man. And then I let them out my car, and sure enough, there's this big old poop stain on her britches as I'm letting her out, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, so you need to get cleaned up. And then I went to the substation and just like threw a gallon of bleach in my back seat, just freaking hosed it down.
At least it wasn't like a bare ass shitting. At least you had like the little bit of the pants there to sop it up, I guess.
I guess, yeah. Sure.
I'm trying to look at silver linings here.
Good job. You're awesome for that. You weren't the one scrubbing crap out of the little creases of your seat to make sure it didn't stink. But hey, buddy, you keep on positive thinking.
True. It's more of a brown lining, I guess.
Oh. All right, on with the questions.
You still have one more, Corey?
Well, that wasn't even my first question. I was just trying to elaborate on Jay's.
That was a lead up, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Or a lead out.
All right. Now, Sean mentioned a couple of days ago on Twitter you did it during the last episode, that we had been kind of softballing questions lately. So I felt like we did need to kick it back up a notch. So,
I'm nervous.
Now, would you rather drink a tablespoon of semen or diarrhea?
Ooh.
Oh.
Whose semen is it?
That's what I was going to ask.
Now, how I want to know as a follow-up question, how much does that matter? Like if I said a certain person's semen, you're like, oh, I'd totally drink his cum, but I would not eat his shit. Like how much does that actually matter?
Well,
I don't think.
Go ahead.
I don't think it matters for crap, but as far as like semen, it's not that, I'd eat his, but I've always been in the mindset that I know my own cleanliness, so I know my own hygiene is very good.
Let's say it's not you. It can't be you. Let's say it's Mike's. It's Mike's.
Oh.
That's who it is.
It is the purest seed ever, Damian. This is high quality seed right there, Damian.
You have no idea what it goes for on the black market. It's insane.
Yes.
Yeah, I would. I'd have to go with semen.
Yeah. Take my semen. Yeah.
Ooh, that's rough. All right. And now you were on a fellow podcast, correct?
Yes, I am.
All right. Why don't you give that podcast a plug? And if you could, can you name all the cast members for me?
Okay. It's Dad's Getting Grounded, and it's myself along with Jeremy Runer and Magmaflow Dan and Christian Harper, the Tard Blaster.
All right, now, if you had to receive a hand job from one of your fellow castmates, who would you choose to give you that hand job? And keep in mind the entire time you have to make eye contact.
Oh, man.
That's almost a gimme, isn't it?
No,
Oh,
not
Chase
for me,
gets
'cause-
somebody picked out.
See,
Wow, Jay.
Wow.
He knew right away.
I mean, I'm going as far as I'm thinking of quality of, hand job that I'm going to get. So I don't want somebody with like rough hands who works out or anything. So,
I don't think any of those guys work out.
well, Dan lifts a little bit, and I think Christian, he actually does stuff around the house. But I know we make fun of Jeremy all the time for not doing stuff around the house and not really fixing anything. So he would definitely be the guy with the manicured hands and
Soft paws. Kitty soft paws.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Jeremy, man, absolutely.
So if he's listening to this right now, he's looking down at his own hands.
Oh,
and
even better is I'm going up there in October to visit, so that's going to be a nice sleepover.
If you guys don't, he's affectionately called Kitty Soft Paws from now on.
I like it.
Jesus. I really thought you were going to go with the close the door.
He was a close second, but I really think I would end up laughing too much, and we wouldn't get anything done. It might be an hour in there.
You're right. You're there to do a mission. You might as well choose somebody.
Right. So you're saying that
enthusiastic.
Jeremy might be more apt to rub your nipples or give them a little tug or something to put you over.
Jeremy would soothe himself, and I need to do whatever it takes to get this over with as quickly as possible. Yeah, if I told him I'm into the finger in the butthole, then I'm sure he would plug away, man.
Oh, wow.
He's there to get a job done.
Sean, you asked these types of questions, so you're up next, buddy.
Yeah, I know, and of course, Corey and I are on the same wavelength, of course. So I'm gonna have to. This one's gonna come out. I had one for the podcast also. If you had to make out with one of the guys from any podcast that you listen to or are a part of, because to save the world from aliens, who would you pick?
Who's got the purtiest mouth?
Yeah, who's got the softest lips? Who really takes care of them and does chapstick and stuff?
I was going to say, this goes right along with the same thing you just went over for the hands, right?
See, right.
Now you can also, now Damian, you can also solve world peace here and just pick a black co-host on one of these shows, and then you can just really smooth things over with the world right now.
Bring together communities. That's what we're about.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna reach out and do Blue Man rule.
Yeah, baby.
All right.
Glove box is all dejected. He thought there was gonna be some cop on cop love, but you're going blue.
No, I'd be kind of afraid that he would be violent tendencies to pick up the gun behind your head while he's reaching it, because there's only one way. There's only one story coming out of here, and it's going to be his. And it's going to be that never happened.
I like the in-depth thought.
Yeah, he's giving all these
this.
thoughts. You get extra points for you put a lot of critical thought into it. I like it.
It's just like these afterthoughts.
All right, Sean, you got one more?
I got one more, and this one is a little tamer. Would you rather have sex with your cousin in secret, or not have sex with your cousin, but everyone would think you did?
Wow. Okay.
Wow, look at that. That's
a good question.
Yeah,
I think I would rather have sex with my cousin in secret and nobody know about it.
Oh, somebody's got a sexy cousin.
I mean, yeah, I do have sexy cousins, and also, I live south of the Mason-Dixon line, so that's
it's all good down there, right?
Yeah, it's all good, right?
It's all good, yeah.
I think we're supposed to high five each other and not keep it secret. I don't know. I mean,
incest unlocked.
Nice.
all right. I guess it's my turn. Damian, can you remind us on your weight loss? How much weight have you lost?
280 pounds so far.
Damn.
So, the first time that your dick reappeared.
Okay.
Who was more? This is a two-part question. Who was more excited, you or your wife? And what were the first words that you uttered to your rebirth?
I think it was "There You Are," and I think that I would have to be more excited. I don't think my wife is really excited about it because now she's getting pain. Since
So she wants to put some of that weight back on. She wants to go back in hiding.
She needs some more cushion. Yeah, more cushion for the pushing. Like it's not there anymore. So there's no barrier stopping it, and kind of hurt her a couple of times. So I think I'm getting too excited with the weight loss. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna. This is a rather easy question, but who would you rather fuck, marry, or kill? We have 3 plus-size models here for you, or I should say actresses. We have Melissa McCarthy, Amy Schumer, and Rebel Wilson. So please elaborate who you would rather fuck, marry, or kill.
Oh. All right. I'm going to go. First off, I'm going to go kill Amy Schumer. I don't find where she's that funny, so I would off her. Okay. And I would definitely fuck Rebel Wilson because I just think that she would be fun. You know, she's definitely the definition of a moped. You know, fun to ride, but you probably don't want nobody to see you on it. And I think that she would be wild, and fun in the bed. And then Melissa McCarthy is like a sweetheart to me. So I would definitely have to say I'd put a ring on that one.
Nice. Excellent. Before we tally the scores here, Corey, can you give us the scores for the other contestants? Do you have those in front of you?
I do, yes. So far, we only have 3 people on the leaderboard. We have Ben Shanier as number 1. He had a 7.25. Our very own Sean Quicksilver here. He's at a 6.5, followed by Devious Mr. Matt at a 5.25.
All right, let's boo Devious Mr. Matt, please.
All
right, thank you. All right, thank you.
Nice. He'll come back on and redeem himself soon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the early version. Should we call it the beta?
All right, so let's see. Jay, you went first, so you've had the most time to think. Will you please give us your score for Damian?
Really, I mean, seriously, he did put a lot of thought into some of these answers, and also, the follow-ups, just kind of the questioning about it. He didn't hold back and answered, and they all seemed very valid, and, I don't think he was holding back or lying about any of it, so I'm going to give an 8.3. They seem to be getting better as we go.
Got to be solid numbers.
Got to be
well, then we're going to back her down to an 8 then.
Oh, boo! Boo! Yeah, there you go.
Okay, 8.5.
Is there a difference between 8.3 and 8.5, Corey, or they got to be solid numbers?
No, I locked him at an 8. I agree with that 8.5.
It's an 8. That's why I did that.
All right. Who was next? Corey, you have to give
I think I was next, yes. He was honest, and he put a lot of thought into all the questions. He did not just answer off the cuff. So I appreciated that honesty, and he had a good poop story right off the bat, too. So.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I should have given an extra point for that one, but it's too late.
I'm going to give him an extra point for that, so I will give him a 9.
Yeah.
Whoa. Sean, you're up next.
Yep. I thought he answered. The first was a kind of a soft question because I didn't realize Corey was going to ask the same, so maybe I should do some more research next time. But he answered the second question like I thought he would, which is good. That means after listening to Damian on Dad's Getting Grounded, I've pretty much nailed down his sense of humor. So I'm also going to give him a 9.
Wow.
2 9s.
Well, Damian, I'm never one to put someone in the... I'm not big on first ballot Hall of Famers. There's only a select few people that get in right away. But I must congratulate you on the rebirth of your dick. And I am impressed that you want to drink my semen. So,
true, yes.
Yes. So,
that's rigged then. Rigged.
And,
bought him off.
Yeah, so... And then I'll be out there. I should be out in Ohio in October too. So,
how soft are your hands? How soft are your hands, Mike? You don't really do a lot of drumming, do you? You don't get a lot of calluses.
Not anymore, no.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give Damian a 9 as well. I think he's earned that.
Oh, the hard guy.
Yep. So what is the
after that answer? Yeah.
So, Corey,
All right,
what is
so,
that score?
Tallying up the scores, we have 3 9s and an 8. That averages out to an 8.75, which makes him our new leader. You are the winner of the hot seat. Yes, congratulations. And I just want to say I would have bumped you up an extra point if you introduced me to your hot cousin.
Well, I got 2 of them, so you actually get your pick. Is
Awesome.
2 points?
Well, Damian, we can't thank you enough for appearing tonight. Hopefully it wasn't that uncomfortable.
No. I mean, I don't get embarrassed. My wife will tell you that. She's like, you have no shame. You need to learn what shame is. So,
not on this show.
Awesome, Damian. Well, thanks a lot, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good podcast.
All right.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
too.
Take it easy.
All right.
Easy, man.
Well, I don't know where we go from here. I am so hot and bothered right now. Jeez. Why don't you cue up the music, Corey?
Oh, are we going right into that next segment?
Yes.
Pokemon!
That is what the Dilligaff is about this time. I'm sure everybody listening, if they have a Twitter feed, it is a buzz with the Pokemon. Pokemon Go just came out. I believe it was last week. It's created by Niantic, a small independent company. I think their only other previous game is also an AR game. It's called Ingress. They're actually a small company that spun out of Google in 2015, so they actually created a lot of Google Maps for mobile, so that's one of the reasons they're so good at integrating AR into their games. But it's the latest Pokemon game. I think it's developed and published by Niantic, and a lot of people are playing it, so that's essentially what the Dilligaff is how many fucks do you give about
Pokemon!
Go?
Now, before we start, I did see some news today that this game is about to take over the usage, however they tally the scores or level usage of Twitter on Android. So the amount of people playing Pokemon Go is going to supersede the amount of people using Twitter on Android devices.
I thought they said it's already exceeded the daily users of Twitter.
Maybe.
That's insane.
When I looked earlier, someone had a graph, and they said it was pretty close to doing it. And, of course, there's people going around everywhere doing this stupid stuff, too, right?
Yeah, I think a little girl discovered a body accidentally while she was trying to find some Pokemans. I heard a guy ran out into the highway to try to collect a Pikachu, but then I heard later that story is actually fabricated. But
yes.
I'm sure lots of things like that are happening.
Well, I know Sean has some strong opinions on this. So why don't Sean, as the relatively new guy, let him go first. Have at it, Sean.
Yeah, so my give a fucks about Pokemon is 0. I give no fucks about Pokemon. I think it's... I don't know. It's hard to say. I have a couple friends of mine, one of them who called me today, said he was just out and about doing some exercise, which I will give at this point. If it gets people out and about and outside and not at a computer screen, that is probably awesome. But as far as the game itself, he's trying to get me to do it. He's telling me I need to be one of us. And I go, I'm not going to be one of you. I walk every day enough. I don't need to go chasing around the house for a stupid little thing that will show up on my phone. For what? For nothing. It's just I'm like,
You got more important things to do, like hit a virtual tree with a virtual axe for an hour.
Listen, that's very important. First of all, no, hold on. I don't just do that anymore. The farming aspect of that game, I don't do. Basically, I have more important things like interacting with people. That's what I do. So So no, Pokemon for me is Pokemon no hashtag. Pokemon no.
All right, well, let's balance this out. Jay, where is your fuck level at this?
I really thought my Dilligaff on this would be somewhere around 0. However, I have gotten caught up in all this excitement. And for me, it's kind of a little bit being a grandpa, but and because of age, my son Jamie used to collect all the Pokemon stuff. So I kind of have an interest in it. I never really played Pokemon, but, because of that I did. And he's been playing it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to download this and check it out. I I got to admit, I walked a mile down the street and back, caught a few Pokemon. We went out today, and we did stop at a few places, and I don't know what they call them places where you do the spin thing, and you get some Pokeballs and eggs. Yeah, Pokestops, and I got an egg and stuff, and so I am playing it. And on the way home, my wife I was like, okay, let's go over here. There's a cannon over in the park over here that is, I can't remember what it was, had something where I could collect a bunch of stuff, so I went to that, and the post office across the street was another Pokestop, so I got some more Pokeballs, and it's surprisingly, I give probably the most fucks I've given so far in a Dilligaff segment, probably 8, maybe even 9. I'm enjoying this. Do I think I'll be playing this within a week? Probably not. If I am, we'll bump the score up. But so I'm going to give it 8. Surprisingly, I am enjoying this. And also knowing that this is getting some nerds out of the house that have probably not seen daylight in years are running around their neighborhoods and breaking into their neighbors' yards and crawling over the fences because there's a Jigglypuff in the pool area. So just knowing that, there's some satisfaction and entertainment value just in that. And the people that are walking into the roads and almost getting cleaned out, there's some entertainment factor here too. And actually, again, there's a lot of these people who are going out and actually meeting other people in some social areas in their town, going to the local park or field or whatnot, and actually interacting with each other, which has not probably happened in a while. So I'm going to give it 8 fucks.
8 solid fucks.
Solid.
So I'm going to have to counter that. If anybody listened last week and I talked about Inside, I would have to very much say the same thing about this. Now, in all honesty, I have invested probably hundreds of dollars in this franchise with my kids and their cards and things like that. They still, collect them and here and there. And so I'm not anti-Pokemon, but I am anti the hoopla everywhere. My Twitter feed has been trashed by this. If you should look at my my block feature on Tweetbot, I block so much crap. And when it just gets to the point of noise, I mute all the hashtags I can. Anything to Pokemon. Today it was Pokemon and anything to do with the European soccer thing. All those hashtags muted forever. So it has hit a fever pitch for me that is just too much noise. It's too much hype, not enough substance. And, I like my privacy respected. I don't want anybody hopping over into my yard. God forbid someone is in my yard trying to get a Squirtle.
Look, there's a Squirtle on that dog shit.
Yeah, well, they're going to get something else on that dog shit, too.
It's a rare Squirtle.
At this point, it hasn't interfered with my life beyond my news feed. I was out a lot today. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary where people were doing stupid stuff for their Pokemons. But still, I'm going to have to give it 0 fucks. I do not care about it.
All right, so I guess I am going to counter that. I liked how we went back and forth like this. I have never, ever given a fuck about the Pokemon franchise, ever. It was just a little after my time, my generation. It was like just under my generation. So I have a lot of friends who were into it, feeling a lot of nostalgia for it, but I never was, and I knew it was one of those games that you could really sink a lot of time into. So I was like, you know what, I'll just avoid it. I'll never bother to get into the Pokemon franchise. But with Pokemon Go coming out, I've always been interested in AR games as far as mobile games go. I played a couple of AR games. They never really felt right. They never really accomplished what they wanted to, and I heard that this one was made by Niantic. And I was like, it's getting good feedback. A lot of people are into it, so I guess I'll give it a shot. So I literally downloaded it this morning, and I collected a few Pokemon. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm still just kind of fumbling my way through it, but it's fun. It accomplishes what they wanted to accomplish. It's a perfect franchise for this type of AR game, and I like to walk my daughter around the neighborhood and collect Pokemon. So I'll say that I looked in my pockets and I found a handful of fucks in my back pocket. So I'll give a handful of fucks for Pokemon Go.
Pokemon!
Well, we can move on from that segment, right, Sean?
Yep.
All right. Let's get right to the news. The Witcher 3 is going to be getting a Game of the Year edition. Not sure how you guys feel about that, but they have said... Whoa.
Sorry, I'm not a huge Witcher fan. So.
It says, with all the free DLC and updates the game received so far, including significant changes to the game's interface and mechanics, many gamers have asked us if we're working on some sort of Game of the Year. Game director Konrad, some Polish last name, says, I'm happy to confirm, yes, plans are in motion to release such an edition. We'll release more details, including the release date in the future.
If it has DLC, like multiple DLC packs, it's going to have a Game of the Year edition. You can count on it. Some sort of collected edition.
Yep, it only makes sense. And that game has been out just over a year. It's from May 2015 that game came out. So, still relative. If anybody
still playing it.
Our Game of the Year last year, right? I think that was what the game.
Yes. If anybody listened to Gamers Unscripted this week, we talked a little bit towards the end about the Steam Summer Sale and how certain games sold incredibly well. So we're going to touch upon that a little bit more here. Limbo was the top seller, if you can believe this. It sold 1.1 million copies. Revenue was just over $11 million. And the
just
game,
in the Steam sale alone, just in this most recent Steam sale.
And
it must have was it like heavily promoted on the front page because of Inside?
The game was not even on sale, Corey. 0% discount. So people must have been jonesing for Limbo on PC while they waited the extra week for Inside, because Inside did come out a week later on PC. So I found that incredibly interesting. But let's go over the top 10 here. I think erroneously I mentioned on Gamers Unscripted that BioShock 2 was number 2 on the list. They are not. They are somewhere around the 15 mark. But number 2 on the list is Payday 2, which I found interesting. They sold 526,000 copies, just over 2.5 million in sales. Other ones, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Age of Empires 2 HD Edition, Gary's Mod, Dead by Daylight, Left 4 Dead 2, Doom, Rocket League, and Grand Theft Auto 5. So if anybody wants to check out all the winners from the Steam Summer Sale, I'll put a link in the show notes, but there is a site out there called Steam Spy, and they track how the user base grows. And BioShock 2 did pretty well, 179,000 copies that sold during the Steam Summer Sale. And of course, I think a lot of that had to do with people trying to get the extra version so they could qualify for that free edition.
I agree.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
That's why I bought it.
Now, Jay's favorite game, Evolve, is now free to play on PC. They released a statement, they being Turtle Rock, on their website. I'm going to read a little bit of this here. It says, when Evolve launched, the reception wasn't what we expected. Sure, there were some good reviews. There were also some bad reviews. Yes, there was excitement. There was also disappointment. For players and for us, it says it was disappointment for players and for us, and then it goes on to say, the DLC shitstorm hit full force and washed away people's enthusiasm for Evolve, dragging us further and further from the first magical pick-up-and-play experience. So now it is free to play on PC. You don't have to buy any sort of game or have a disc or anything like that. It is free to play. The beta launched on July 7th, and it looks like it's going to be in beta for some time. And I am not sure what's going on with the DLC. I don't believe any of the DLC is free. And what they said is anyone who owns the classic Evolve will be given founder status in the new free version. And all the content you already own comes with you to the new version. As long as we work on Evolve, we will show our appreciation for our committed fans and early adopters with gifts, rewards, and special access. Why? Because go ahead.
I was just going to say classic evolved. That's a little gracious, I think.
And they say, why? Because you believed like we did, and we will never forget you. Oh. So people who want to try Evolve, can go ahead now and do so on PC for free. And they have a list of things that they have worked on. They have reworked the Hunter class to make the team less reliant on having experienced trappers and medics, making improvements to the maps and UI, improving load times, overall performance, and getting you into the game faster, focusing on improving stability and bugs, completely reworking our progression system and tutorials, and more customization options. Anybody going to dabble in that since it's free? Jay, is there any curiosity to see how this game looks on your new card?
You know what? If I can download for free, I might. But to be honest, I'm not overly interested. I got burned out on it. I really enjoyed it when it first came out, and they started making a bunch of changes to it, and it made it to a point where I didn't enjoy it just because of the balances that they did to it. And admittedly, I mean, when I first started playing it, I was one of the early players on it for the beta, alpha and beta, and I enjoyed those because you could actually go in and play and do well on either team. And then it seemed like no matter what, you couldn't beat the hunters, and then it turned around, they'd made some balances, and then you couldn't beat the monsters, and it didn't seem all that balanced, and it was tough to play. So I don't know if I'll go back. I doubt it, but it is a gorgeous looking game, so maybe I'll do that. I don't know.
No, Corey, you don't play any PC games really, right?
Not so much. I play a little bit here and there on Steam, but before I answer, what about Joe? Joe, are you going to be picking this up?
I'll be doing my buddy.
Oh, he'll be busy doing his buddy.
Oh, wow.
But Jesus. But no, as far as it goes for me,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
no, not going to be picking up Evolve.
Sean, you're a PC only guy. What about yourself?
Nope.
No.
Not interested.
No fucks given there.
No fucks given.
I thought you might try it for free.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of things I've tried for free, but you know what? It's definitely not that. Let's just go there. We'll say that.
Let's move on to some Fallout 4 news. We love how Mr. Hines always responds to his Twitter followers. Of course,
I really do.
The last two episodes we talked about Serpent Monkey, and this week we're talking about Andes Dylan, or Dylan Andes. He's got them reversed depending on how you look at it. He says, DC Deacon, is Nuka World going to be the last Fallout 4 DLC, or are you guys planning more as the year goes on? And Pete Hines, DC Deacon, responds, last one. So that's going to be it for Fallout 4's DLC.
That's not really a shocker, I don't think. Is that really a shocker to anybody here?
I pity the people that paid $50 for the. Well, I really don't pity them, but yeah.
Well, I got
you get into the $30 mark. I think you did very well. I think you get into the $50 mark. I think you might have paid a little too much.
Yep. So let's recap what Nuka World is. Their marketing spiel here says, take a trip to Nuka World, a vast amusement park, now a lawless city of raiders. Explore an all-new region with an open wasteland and park zones like Safari Adventure, Dry Rock Gulch, Kitty Kingdom, and the Galactic Zone. Nuka World features new quests, raiders, weapons, creatures, and more. Enjoy the ride. Yeah, I think to me it seems to be adequate. I mean, I haven't played Far Harbor yet, but there seems to be a decent amount of content by all means. I think 3 would have been the sweet spot for story content. It seemed like they went heavy with the mods and things like that, but I think a lot of those people naturally gravitate to Fallout 4, so that appeases a big portion of who plays this game.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, who likes to do the story stuff, missions, I would have liked to seen one more personally.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's Bahaba. Come on, Mike. You guys are up in that area. Jeez.
Sean, you don't know, every time I say that, I make a concerted effort not to say Fahaba. So
see, now that's perfect. That works.
Going with Fahaba, yes, sir.
Oh yeah, did we get the little lobster man on Dad's Getting Grounded this week?
We did. Got a little bit of lobster man on there. He was on there, some bitch, talking about all kinds of shit.
It sounded more like a drunk Ted Kennedy to me.
Exactly. That's what they sound like. Right after they get out of the car that went in the river.
All right, let's move on to some PlayStation news here. The VR game cases are out in the wild. I shouldn't say in stores, but at least they've released the artwork. And if it is a full PlayStation VR game, it says right underneath PlayStation 4 or PS4, PlayStation VR game. And then in the lower right-hand corner, it says, you'll need these. And it shows a photo of the camera and the headset. For games that are both VR and I think just can be played either in VR or not in VR, it says PlayStation VR compatible. And other ones say, there's only looks like two flavors here. PlayStation VR compatible or PlayStation VR required.
Yeah, when I saw that headline, I was like, oh, cool, and I got excited, and I actually clicked on the link, and then I saw the box, and I was like, oh, wait, I haven't bought a physical game this console generation. Why do I give a fuck what the box looks like?
True.
And PlayStation has also now come out with a PS4 wireless adapter. I should say it's been certified by the FCC. So Sony has certified a wireless adapter with the Federal Communications Commission, indicating it may be planning to release a new peripheral for the PlayStation 4. So I guess DualShockers spotted this. The device is listed with the CUH product code, which is associated with the PS4 and its accessories. The wireless adapter has a 5-volt power supply and is described as a Bluetooth transceiver. So many are speculating that this is going to allow you to play PlayStation game, use your DualShock 4 on the PC. Now you can already do that if you have just a third-party Bluetooth thing. I have it and it works fine.
Or if you have a Mac, works perfectly on the Mac.
Yeah. So it looks like maybe they're trying to get into the accessory thing, like Microsoft has one, a dongle, and they're also maybe speculating that it's for remote play. Who knows what that's going to actually come out to be, but there is a new Bluetooth dongle on the way at some point. And last bit of news here. EA Games is releasing a bunch of new games to the EA Access Vault very soon. We know Jay is a subscriber now. So Need for Speed and Unravel will be joining the EA Access Vault on July 12th, which is in 2 days. EA Sports Madden 17, Play the Trial, will be August 18th. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 is coming to the vault on August 30th. And then trials for NHL 17 and FIFA 17 are hitting in September 8th for hockey, September 22nd for soccer. You feeling good value with that, Jay?
I picked it up in about the 12-month, but I don't use it. I haven't used it at all yet. So, when Battlefield 1, maybe I'll feel a little better about it because I'll have had a chance to play that. But I didn't even go in and play any of what's the parkour game there?
Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's Edge. I didn't even go in and play that. I don't know if I'm getting my money's worth. I'd have to say no at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big FIFA guy.
FIFA fum?
Jay, how do you pronounce FIFA again?
FIFA.
FIFA.
Oh, so that reminds me, Jay, that's a good segue to the early days of gamers in beta. So our actual 3-year anniversary was May 23rd, and we're going to try at some point in an upcoming show to get some of the original guys back on for a quick 5-10 minute segment. But Jay, do you have any thoughts from the early days? Certainly you've been here since episode 1. Anything?
Right, I missed episode 0. I was not actually on the very first inaugural one.
I listened to that a little bit today, and we actually didn't even know what we were going to be called then. It was a show about our impressions of the Xbox One reveal. We recorded that on May 21st of 2013.
Yep, and I remember the discussions on that, and I couldn't make it that night. So, but yeah, I mean that was it's kind of interesting, and then again, I'll reiterate, I appreciate you bringing me along for the ride because it's been an interesting ride. I really do enjoy coming on and talking about this all the time, even with my dad jokes and my forgetfulness. It's nice to come in here, and the community that has been built up from this is pretty awesome too. So,
I would say those are probably the best memories, right? We've talked to developers, we've got to go to certain trade shows and things like that, and that's all good stuff. But it's the community that we've somewhat built. The other bringing on people like Damian. Just a little while ago, things like that. Certainly, bringing Joe and Corey on board, and now Sean, who was a loyal listener and now is part of the show. I think that's.
And even still, Aaron, who used to be on Kalen, we still follow him on some of the social medias, and he's doing. Cosplay now, and it's kind of interesting to see. He's not with the cast anymore, but it's interesting. That's still somebody that we know. And we've run into that, and I think that is a big thing. And especially, now I always joke and say it's like the podcast ring. I don't know if anyone remembers those. I'm dating myself here, but they used to be like the web rings, and we kind of have a podcast ring now of all the podcasts, and that's really enjoyable to be in. And when you have questions about something, you put it out there, and you kind of get the hive mind out there. We all come together and get some answers, and being able to play online with these people and be able to play online with the listeners, and and then being able to get together and meet these people too in real life. It really has been a great thing. So.
Yeah. So let's quickly shout out the original crew. It was your son, Jamie, Kel18. He was on the first show. Aaron Shoesmith, who we talked about earlier when we did the Peggle talk. He's on Twitter as THM Magnum Spy. And then Tino Osvaldo Mendoza, who's Morte Brutel on Twitter. And Haul Your Bass was also, I think, in the early days. And, of course, Kalen was not on the first show, but he was on probably close to 100 episodes or somewhere around there. So certainly Aaron was a big part of the show for a while there. So we thank all those guys for their efforts. Joe, yes, everybody take a bow. Joe left us another voice message about the 3-year anniversary. So let's hear from Joe again. If he has time.
I'll be doing my buddy.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say if he has time, because we know what he's doing right now. But
you and I both rushed to the same joke and ran into each other. All right, here's the actual one.
Hey, it's Joe State here again. Guess what? I just wanted to make sure I recorded something saying congratulations on the 3-year anniversary of Gamers in Beta. I'm honored to be a part of the show. And I appreciate everything that, everybody before me on the show has helped pave the way for. And, it's a pleasure to be on a podcast with old Captain Mike and old Grandpa Jay. So thanks, guys. And I look forward to being on again next week. See ya!
I like the little sign off there. I don't want to put Corey and Sean on the spot, but if you want to say anything, you can. Otherwise, we can just go on to the plugs.
I was going to say I feel honored that you guys gave me a home here at Gamers in Beta. I was on a kind of a sister podcast on Bago Games, and that podcast kind of, I wouldn't say it imploded, but we eventually had to stop. It just got too complicated with getting everybody together, and I was podcast less for a while, and you guys let me appear on the show once or twice, and then you guys asked me to be on permanently, and I was very honored by that. So thank you very much for that.
No,
thank you. You bring a lot to the cast. With the games, and we do have to do a beta test again. But I think and with the sound and everything, so we appreciate it.
It's definitely taking us to another comedic level for sure.
My pleasure.
Sean?
I'll just say something really quick. I actually, now that makes sense, because I started listening 3 years ago when I got this driving job, because I needed something to listen to. And I found you guys through Holy Headshot, who told me that you guys are really good to listen to. So I've been listening for 3 years, and a loyal listener every week makes, I listen. And it's been awesome. You guys are great. And it's nice that you guys invited me on to be a part of the show also. It's a great honor, because quite honestly, this is my favorite podcast, so that works out. So it's kind of cool.
You're correct.
And you're now a designated hitter.
Well, I can sort of relate to you a little bit, Sean, because for me, my favorite podcast was the 40cast, and I sort of weaseled my way on there, and I think I've been on maybe close to a year or upcoming a year on that. And so now I don't have like a favorite podcast to listen to. I don't have that anymore. So I've had to adopt other ones like Dad's Getting Grounded, Open Forum Radio. So I'm curious, do you still listen, or because you already have you've already lived it, experienced it, do you not listen?
Oh no, I do listen. I didn't at first because I didn't want to hear myself talk because I don't like the way my voice sounds. But I figured, you know what, I want to listen to see how I sound, see how I can change things. Obviously, the mic has to change, so I can hear it myself. So, but I mean, no, I listen to everything. Dad's getting and all the other podcasts. You know, I've got probably well over 100 podcasts on my phone because obviously, you know, everybody comes out once a week, so I kind of have to keep up, you know, and I drive 3 days a week. So, but yeah, I've met a lot of great people through all these podcasts, in this little group here. So it's been kind of cool. You know, you guys are all awesome. So,
and you hear that? He's got 100 podcasts on his phone, and we're the favorites.
Whoa! All right, quickly get the plugs out of the way. Again, we have shirts. You can go to teespring.com, gamers-in-beta, buy them if you like, $15. We have a Uncharted 4 sealed copy giveaway going on right now. Head to gamersinbeta.com for that.
How does the giveaway actually work? I'm sorry, I think you were about to explain it when I interrupted you.
Well, if you go to gamersinbeta.com, there should be something at the top of the page. There's like an article you can click into, and basically you just have to follow us on social media channels. So, for example, you can follow us on Twitter, retweet the tweet on Twitter, follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, things of that nature. So it looks like 11 possible ways to enter, maybe 10.
So is it Gleam?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep, powered by Gleam. And that is running through next Friday, the 15th, I believe. So you have a couple days. And I'll also be launching another giveaway in the next day or so. All the stuff I got from PAX. I think the big ticket item in there is the Gwent deck from The Witcher 3.
Which I also have a spare of, and will more than likely be putting up there too on a separate one at some point.
Cool. I think that's it. You know, I thought we had a good episode of Gamers Unscripted this week with Bill Gardner from the Deep End Games. Lots of good talk, so go download that. The 40cast was pretty cool this week. We touched upon some social issues, so if that's not your bag, you know, hang with it because it gets good towards the end. Our normal sex talk creeps up towards the end, so hang with that. And I think I saw Dad's Getting Grounded is also selling some merchandise now too. I think they're actually trying to raise some funds to help support the Dad's Hideout and pay for some of their hosting and things like that. Ours is just to get T-shirts out to people that want them. Theirs is actually to raise money for their own services. So support both if you can. And anybody else want to go next?
I really don't have much other. I mean, I've already kind of shout out to the people that have been with us through the years, all three of them, and the ones that are current with us also. Appreciate you guys being on, and Joe, for the current group. I think we do well. And all the listeners out there, we appreciate them. The 40cast, Everyday Gamers, Game Hounds, Dad's Getting Grounded, and a lot of the others that mention us and we mention them. And I think it's a good group and we appreciate all that stuff. So,
Corey, what's going on with Bago Games? Anything?
Yes, actually, I now that I'm finished moving and everything, I can get back to writing. I have a feature that should be up by the time this podcast airs. I think it's going up tomorrow. It's called Gamer Parent. The NES generation has leveled up. So it's all about being a parent and being a gamer. And I promise it does not get sappy, and I promise it's an interesting read, even if you don't have any kids running around. So check that out. Follow Bago Games on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, because I'm their social media manager, and I told you to. And if you do, it means you have a
big penis. So
you have to run out and do that. Follow Gamers in Beta on Twitter, which you probably already do if you're listening to this. And if you live in the New England area, the tickets for the Boston Festival of Indie Games are on sale now. It's on September 10th, but you should buy tickets as soon as possible. I think kids under 10 are free. So it's a great place for kids, great place for families. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Sean?
Yep, I just have a couple shout outs. One, I want to shout out Sergeant Viper, who's the one who's doing the Pokemon thing. I certainly hope he gets some help with that soon. And I'd like to shout out the Homestead, which is my RP family on the Critical Gaming server. Without them, it would definitely make ARC a lot more boring. So that's it.
Cool. So next week, if you can believe it, this will probably be the first episode that I will not be on. My band has a show. It is my bass player's last show with us, so I have another part of my life that I need to step into next weekend, so I will not be here. And and I think just to mix things up, in the past we would have rescheduled, and rather than throw everybody's life into upheaval for the week, I said, why don't I just step back for the week and have the four of you guys do the show. So Joe very graciously said he is going to host next week, so I look forward to hearing a Gamers in Beta episode without me on it, and I thank Joe for that, and I certainly thank Joe for all the work he's done since he's been on board. He's a big part of this as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that, and I thank you guys for volunteering to do the show without me. And I'm curious to hear how it comes out.
Lunatics are going to be running the asylum.
It should be entertaining.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jay, why don't you end this one?
I have one last thing that I forgot to mention. Mobile game. Iron Maiden, A Legacy of the Beast. It's a turn-based game on mobile. I just started playing it, so I haven't gotten a full idea of how good it is, but I am enjoying what I've played so far, and it is turn-based, and it's got Eddie in it, so it's interesting, and it's free, so well worth trying out. So along those lines, same beta time, same beta channel. See ya!
Pokemon!
Keeper of peace, but all you know is hate. Our freedom's dying in a fucking police state. Here come the nation's finest, an army of the blind, a gang of ruthless thugs who have lost their fucking minds. A power-hungry mob of savages and scum who hide behind the power of a motherfucking gun. Arrogant stormtrooper flooding our streets. There's like simple you're a fucking disease. Without that badge on your chest and a gun at your side, I bet you're just a fucking coward who'll probably run it on.
I couldn't decide if I wanted to do
I'll be doing my buddy.
or Pokemon. I went back and forth, so I decided on Pokemon.
Where the hell did you get that frickin' outtake
I'll be doing my
from?
buddy.
He was the last episode he was on. He was going to be doing his buddy's podcast, and he paused
yeah.
and just said, "I'm going to be doing my buddy podcast."
Nice.
So I was like, "Yeah."
And Corey was like, "Oh, that's a good soundbite, right?"
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mike sent it to me. I was like, "Gold. This is gold."
I'll be doing my buddy.
I'm curious to see how he's going to react to that. That's going to be good.
It's good.
That's going to be good.